Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Arfa Masihuddin, and welcome to the second episode of the Mentors Walk podcast series with Walking Thoughts. And today we have with us a very special guest, and this episode is specifically for all our ERAS applicants. Every year, as you all know, Walking Thoughts has been consulting with several match applicants, and the things keep changing every year. The situation keeps changing, the demands from the application keeps changing. So we thought that this time, why not? Especially when we've already started our mentorship program, why not get someone on board who will directly guide all our future clients and our existing clients on what to expect from residency programs and how to frame their applications such so that they can maximize their chances of matching. So this one's specifically for all of you. And let me now have the honor of introducing our mentor for today, Dr. Mustaqeem Ahmed Siddiqui, who is an assistant professor of hematology and oncology at Mayo Clinic. He has received several honors and awards for his academic achievements, including being the chief fellow in his Hematology Oncology Fellowship and also the Rock Health Innovation Summit speaker. He has a lot, I think, more than 40 peer-reviewed articles, book chapters, and abstracts on various topics related to his subject. He's also a member of several professional societies and committees, such as the American College of Healthcare Executives, the American Society of Clinical Oncology, the Hematology Outpatient Clinical Practice Committee, and the Medical Oncology Inpatient Clinical Practice Committee. There is so much more to his CV, but obviously if I start going in that, I think the applicants or the people or audience watching it is probably just going to be a little bit more interested in something else rather than focusing on the math. So you'll all get there. That is proof for you. That's encouragement for you that you will all get there. The road is long, but it's there. Welcome, Dr. Siddiqui, and thank you so much for joining us today, for your time and for your expertise. How are you?
Assalamu alaikum. It's wonderful to be with you. Thank you for the kind introduction. I think the most important thing that you just said, you will all get there. That's the important thing. And the other thing to know is not everybody's path look exactly the same. And I can give you several examples of dear friends and colleagues who went to medical school with me, but their paths were different than mine going into clinical medicine. And we can certainly delve into that at some point, but you will all get there.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
So let us, my first question to you, Dr. Mustaqeem, is that, from Aga Khan University to Mayo Clinic, and now you're leading fellowship programs globally. So can you walk us through your journey and also tell us a bit more about how you got to be at AKU, how was your experience, and basically the A to Z journey?
A to Z journey. So I'll start by saying I've lived in 6 countries and 12 cities. So I've been in many different parts of the world. I was born in the United States, but during my early adulthood, I lived in Singapore, I lived in Indonesia, and of course, Pakistan. How I ended up at AKU was after I graduated high school here in the US, then I was actually abroad with my family. My father worked for the hotel industry, and he was stationed in Southeast Asia. So when I was out there, then the question really arose of like, okay, now that you finished high school, what do we do? Do we stay in the US, do the typical 4-year college degree and then 4 years medical school? Or do we look at, schools in the region? Of course, both of my parents are from Pakistan, so they immediately said, well, Pakistan has wonderful medical colleges, and, we're in the region. Why don't we consider, going to school in Pakistan? Well, to make a long story short, that's exactly what happened. And the fact of the matter is, I didn't even get into AKU on the first try. They basically were very skeptical that someone who grew up in the United States and is now living in Asia was really serious about about medical school in Pakistan. And they didn't let me in the first time. They said, well, you have to take our local entrance exam. Your US qualifications are not enough. So I took the local exam. I took the AKU entrance exam as well with all of the other entrance exams. And finally it got to the point where they realized I'm not going anywhere, and they admitted me. So that's how I got into AKU. It was through perseverance. It was to, um, when one, wall is put in front of you, you have to figure out, okay, do I go around the wall? Do I go through the wall? But how do I get to where I want to go? So that's how I ended up in Pakistan. Of course, went to medical school there, graduated in 2002, and shortly after graduation, I actually did 18 months of basic science research in Boston. And this is kind of, I think, the first thing that I would share with your audience is this. The reason I got that research position was because I had done my external electives at that same hospital. And the idea here is that if you have the opportunity to go to another facility or another institution for external rotations, while you're there, ask people and ask, is there any opportunities to do research after I graduate, or any internship opportunities, things like that. So the idea here is that when I was in my final year doing my external rotations in the US, I had asked around. Turned out that yes, there was a position available. So I was able to actually do 18 months of basic science research while I studied for my USMLEs, and I did that all in Boston. Once I passed my boards and I became ECFEMG certified, and of course went through the match. And the match today looks very different than it did when I went through it, but I think some really key concepts still prevail. But long story short, I matched at Mayo for residency. I stayed on for fellowship, and I stayed on staff, and that's where I am today.
That's very interesting, because the AKU bit about them not taking you in and then eventually that's great. But cool. So can you also tell us a bit about how after your fellowship, the other degrees that you did an MBA also, and then you're also the American College of Healthcare Executives, which personally is something that I aspire to do. So, but let's see where the road takes us. But how did that fit into your narrative?
So, there's always a constant discussion about healthcare. We of course, in your hackathon yesterday, we talked about burnout, but there's also concerns about how do we get healthcare to people who can't afford it, and we also have discussions about how do we make sure everyone has access to healthcare. So around the time I was in fellowship, I had, been in discussions about, well, oncology care is becoming more and more expensive. The drugs that we use are becoming more and more expensive because they're now biologics, or, now I do immunotherapy. So it's, things like CAR T therapy. Those are more expensive. So every year there's an increase in the expenditure for treatment of certain conditions. And the question really became, well, how do we make sure everyone has access to that? I realized that the problem was, as a physician, I was very skilled in one particular area. But when it came to the conversation of, okay, how are we going to make this affordable and accessible for everyone? It became clear that I needed another skill set. I needed to understand finance. I needed to understand, budgets. I needed to understand strategy and things like this. And that's where it became pretty evident that an MBA would be very helpful. I think, put another way, what I had realized was I could either be a passenger as a physician, where decisions are being made around me because, well, I don't understand those concepts, or I could learn the concepts and then become an active participant in advocating for patients, advocating for doctors, and trying to figure out what are the ways to get healthcare to as many people as possible. So that was the underlying reason. And alhamdulillah, I did my MBA while I was in my fellowship.
Oh wow! While during the fellowship is just pretty tough to manage, but like if you can do it, then I guess with a little bit of organizational skills and time management, I think that just goes on to show that it can be balanced. It's not
it
like
can be done.
Put anything off, it's about when you feel the time is right. Because I'm sure while you were in fellowship, you figured out that you require this skill set to be able to offer better care to your patients. So
Mhm.
that must have been the opportune time for that.
That was the opportunity, but I also had a lot of support. I had a lot of support from my family, including my wife. I had a lot of support from my parents, and then, of course, my program as well. They provided me the flexibility to move my clinic around so that I could still go to classes in business school. So I had a lot of support as I did it. And in all honesty, without that support, I wouldn't have been able to do it.
Of course, that it takes a village, like I keep saying, and I was
Mhm.
saying yesterday. So it takes a village, and all of us who have the privilege of having it, we avail it. Thank you. So my next question to you is that what were the biggest challenges that you faced during your USMLE and your ERAS journey, and how did you overcome them? And is there something that you feel like you could have done, you did differently from other candidates that helped you match successfully?
Well, a lot to unpack there. The entire time after graduation and before residency is very uncertain. You basically have one goal in mind, and that is to do as best as you can on your board exams. But on the other hand, you don't know what it's really going to translate into. You don't know in 6 months where you'll be living and what kind of program you'll be in. So I think one of the key things is you just have to be comfortable with that uncertainty. Opportunities come very unexpectedly, and I can share some stories about that. But that time is when I think most people are the most uncertain. All they know is that I've got to study for my boards and I've got to get a good score or a good percentile. So at the end of the day, that should be the main focus during that time. Um, I can share with you kind of how I went through the residency and the residency application process. My foremost strategy was make it bulletproof, and here's what I mean. No matter what program you apply to, they are receiving thousands of other applications at the same time. And whether it's fair or not, they have certain filters assigned to the matching software, right? So, for example, they will only review applicants that are AOA, for example. They'll only review applicants who have a certain board score. So, as I was preparing, I wanted to make sure that I could achieve the best in whatever I could control. As an international medical graduate, I have no control over AOA, right? AOA is Alpha Omega Alpha. That is an honor society that's as part of medical schools here in North America. But as an international medical grad from Pakistan, I did not have access to that. So I am not AOA. My point of all of that is to say, you have to do as best as you can when it comes to your application. So board scores, number one. Number two, are you academically inclined? Well, that's important if you're applying to an academic, training program. So I needed to make sure I had either publications or I was showing that I was on path to publications. And that's where the basic science research came in. So now you can see kind of the train of thought. I needed to have a bulletproof application, which meant that I had to have research, which meant that I had to know that in my final year so I could arrange for a research position while I'm studying for the boards. Therefore, when my application is ready to be submitted, I have that area covered. So that's kind of how I would encourage a lot of people to think about their application. It really starts in your fourth year, and how you plan your fifth year or your final year and your post-graduation activities will then lead into what you do for your match application. So at the end of the day, what I basically did was try to make sure I covered everything as best as possible. And then, the rest is up to God. It's up to Allah. But, alhamdulillah, I will tell you, I did not match at the place that I thought I was going to match. And I can certainly tell you about that.
Wow. Can you?
Yeah. So here's the thing. When I was applying, uh, one of my seniors had just been accepted to Duke University Internal Medicine, and Duke is in North Carolina. It's one of the highly ranked internal medicine programs. And I actually did a final year clerkship at Duke, actually in their CCU. And Duke's cardiology program is one of the strongest. So I do my rotation there. Of course, I meet my senior. And while I'm there, I do my best to meet with program director. I'm emailing, I'm asking for a meeting, et cetera, et cetera. Unfortunately, I never was granted a meeting because I wanted to show my interest. I wanted to have a face to the name when I apply. That all helps as you go through the application process. Well, I never had that opportunity. I said, okay, no problem. So, of course, I do my research and I start my ERAS application. And of course, I rank Google, sorry, not Google, I rank Duke as one of the places to apply to. I never got interviewed. And it goes back to, I think, the filters that a lot of these programs will put into place. And in one of those filters, I am an international medical graduate. And I was never granted an interview, even though I had done a clerkship at Duke. And even though I had excellent board scores, and even though I had, US citizenship and I had research, they did not invite for an interview. At the very last day of the interview season, they sent me an email saying, well, we're sorry, but we won't be able to interview this season. I'm like, well, I kind of got that. It's the end of the season. It's the last day. I know I'm not. Thanks for the email. Anyway, what ended up happening was, as the interview requests started coming, one of the first interview requests I got was from Mayo. And I distinctly remember it was my third interview request. I received it. I had applied to Mayo, not really knowing it was in Minnesota. And I got the email request, and then I'm like, oh, this is good news. I was actually about to leave for the airport to go and interview at another program on the East Coast. And I got it, and I said to myself, well, this is good. This is one of the more, highly ranked hospitals. I actually had to look it up. I didn't know it was in Minnesota. But anyway, I looked it up, and I'm like, okay, well, when I get back, I have to now book travel to Minnesota and get that done. And as you know, the rest is history, right? I was able to match at Mayo, and I have a little bit of a story on that. But at the end of the day, alhamdulillah, I matched at Mayo, and it wasn't even on my radar. When I was doing my clerkships, it was Duke. But based on what happened with my application, alhamdulillah, one door closes, the other one opens, and that's where I ended up.
Wow, that's very interesting. Again, I think this happens with a lot of applicants all the time. You don't match after your first choice. You match third cycle, fourth cycle. We've honestly had clients who've been with us, consulting with us for 2-3 years in a row till they eventually match. And it's the same thing every year. They just keep on working on their portfolios, on their profiles, whatever is that. Get more research, get more observerships, network more, whatever. But that's just how the game is. That's just how the algorithm is made for match. So my question, Dr. Siddiqui, to you is that what mistakes, since you've also been a chief resident, you've been head program director also, I believe. So can you please shed some light on the common mistakes that you see IMGs making during their ERAS preparation, their applications? Some common red flags, you would say, or mistakes in their CVs, in their personal statements, in their interviews.
So let's start with application. I think one of the mistakes that people make is that they focus too much on the medicine, and they don't share what makes them unique, what makes them a person. I know you're a medical student. I know you're very smart. I know you've, taken lots of exams and you've done well in them. But who are you as a person? Show me a little bit of that in your CV. And I don't mean simply, in the, hobbies section, listing a bunch of hobbies. What I want to see is, if you've done anything with those hobbies at a competitive level, share that with us. I have a colleague of mine who actually is into horse riding, and he's on his country's national team. I mean, that gives me a little bit more sense of, okay, who is this person? So I think one of the mistakes is that the CV is too medical focused and it doesn't really tell me about you as a person. When it comes to interviews, I think one of the most common mistakes is people are too nervous. They need to relax. They've gotten to that interview through the merits of their application. Now it's time to shine. Now it's really time to show what kind of person you are, your personality, what you could bring to the program. And a lot of times that gets lost when people are very nervous. So the next thing is just be calm, just be yourself. So those are two things. What did I miss?
Uh, I asked about personal statements, CV, and interview. Interview.
Personal statements. So personal statements, the biggest thing is it's very general. You know, it's a personal statement that when you read it, you could imagine anyone reading it, right? Or writing it, I should say. You could imagine, this is very generic. It's, yes. And I'll just give you some cliches that I see very commonly. It's like, I was born to be a doctor and this is why. Or, my family are doctors and I'm a doctor because of that. It's very generic. Tell us a story. And one of the things that I did with my personal statement is I told a story with, it started basically with a phone call I had with my father while I was in Indonesia. And I can just briefly tell you. I started my personal statement with this phone call. And what happened was I was doing an internship with the WHO in Indonesia. And they wanted to know how to get oxygen supplies to small villages in Indonesia. Because there are a lot of people with COPD from smoking and from, burning farmland and inhalation. So anyway, what ended up happening was I was in a lot of areas without cell service. And my father was actually trying to get a hold of me for 2 days. And finally, on the third day, he was able to get through to me on the cell phone. And, he basically told me how worried he was. He couldn't find me and this and that. I said, look, no worries. I'm fine. Everything's okay. So I started my personal statement with that story. And then I took that and it led into, okay, well, why am I in Indonesia? I was raised in the United States. Why am I in Southeast Asia? And why am I in a village where there's no cell service? And so through that personal statement, that really communicated what, who I am, why I'm distinct from someone else, and what are some key moments that kind of led to my application. So I think on the personal statements, one of the more common mistakes is it's just very generic.
Absolutely, and that is something that we also struggle with a lot because applicants, they focus on. I feel like they focus so much on scoring so well that in the
Yeah.
process they forget to tell their own story. And not every. I also realize that not everybody has those storytelling abilities, which is fair enough. Okay, you're meant to be a clinician. Not necessary that you do. But of course, for the purpose of this application, you got to work on that. So what we basically do in our process is while we're helping them draft their personal statements, there's a very extensive questionnaire that we give them, which acts like prompts for them to brainstorm and think about their lives. And then, we're like, okay, this sounds interesting. Let's build up a story out of that. But it's very hard to convince the people to do that. So because they do not want to deviate from the a template kind of that they have in their minds that's been set. And how that usually flows is that you start off by, okay, you maybe start off with a story or something, but that goes on to show that why you're into medicine, why medicine. Talking about that in a personal statement has become a thing. So there's been, in the past few years, there's been a controversy on that. And some people are like, you've already passed med school, so you don't need to justify why you chose medicine for a residency program. So people are of two opinions. Some people will want that in their personal statement, some don't. Then there is that followed by why you are choosing that specific specialty, be it pediatrics, surgery, internal medicine, whichever. But why? What's your reason for that? Why do you want to come to the US? And what you're looking for in a program. So it's like a 5 or 6 paragraph following that, a 1-page personal statement with these topics that are basically being covered. And this is the template that everybody feels safe playing around with. So my next question to you is, what do you have, since you've been reviewing many person statements, of course, and you just mentioned that it has to be a story that's telling who you are as a person, because of course the scores are there, your CV is there to tell you what your professional experiences have been, but what has been the driving force behind that, who you are as a person, all of those things need to shine out in the personal statement. So this rough template that I just mentioned, would you please comment on that, and any advice for the IMGs that how should they feel safe playing around, or is it necessary to mention why medicine? How should they go about talking about why they chose? Because when they're talking about why, for example, why I chose family medicine, they most often they just come up with like, we don't have any reason, we just want to get into the system. So we're coming up with a story of how during one of our clinical rotations in med school we got inspired, or they'd be like, we enjoy the community building as family medicine, we want to go for that, or we enjoy the adrenaline rush in ER, so we want to go for that. The entire thought process, like how do you, it especially gets very difficult for them to justify why they're choosing internal medicine, because the most common answer again is, okay, it's the easiest. That and family medicine seems to be the easiest, and we want to just get into the system, it's less competitive. So, and again, then about why US, because technology, it's the dream life, the American life. What is the real reasoning behind the whole process? So your thoughts and comments on that.
So the applications to internal medicine that I've seen really fall into two categories. The first is they really like internal medicine. It's multi-specialty, there's interdependency between the organ systems, and they really enjoy the complexity and are stimulated by the skills that are required to really understand something so complex, right? So that's category number one. Category number two is people who know they want to be a specialist and they have to do internal medicine. And that's totally fine, right? If your personal statement talks about being an oncologist, it's totally fine to use oncology as the base, case, and then tell us why internal medicine, internal medicine residency would help you become a better oncologist, right? So I think that's one of the areas that would be very helpful. So again, oncology is complex, it's multi-system. There's a lot of interdependency between liver and kidney with metabolism. So you can very easily make a case that I really want to learn internal medicine because it'll make me a better oncologist. Now, when it comes to why the United States, well, simply put, it is a system that has the best and most well-defined training for specialties. And here's what I mean. In the UK, for example, your training is less structured, right? You can spend multiple years at a particular level without graduating and becoming eligible for exams. But in the US, it's very regimented and it's very on schedule. If you start residency and it's a 3-year residency, in 3 years you will graduate or you won't graduate. It's not this, well, I'm going to be a second-year resident for the next 2 years or 3 years, and when a third-year position opens up, then I will transfer. No such thing. And so one is, it is a structured program. Number two, it allows, for example, access to cutting-edge clinical research that very often is not available in other countries, including Europe or continents such as Europe. So you can make a case that United States is preferable for training because it has a very robust and efficient system. And secondly, it gives access to things like clinical trials that may not be available in other continents. So you can build a case of why the US with some of those ideas.
Right. So that's very insightful. Just one thing came to my mind, like a lot of the times applicants also consider using various quotations from either their favorite writer or their favorite movie, and then they link it to to their passion or what they're trying to convey in the personal statement, saying something like, this person, in the words of this person, XYZ, and that completely resonates with how we feel about medicine. So is that preferred? How do program directors view that?
Well, I have my own opinion. My opinion is dispense with the quote. Find a quote that is specific to you and an interaction you may have had with a friend, a family member. It doesn't have to be a quote from a famous author or poet. It can be a simple quote that resonates with you, because that is going to be, I think, more genuine, as opposed to picking a quote from someone famous. So yeah, if you want to use a quote, go ahead, but use something that's genuine, something that is unique to you and that means something to you in a very unique way.
Right. So, that brings me to my next question. What is it that program directors really value when they are choosing their team, choosing on new interns? I understand the filters bit, of course, they have those set, but otherwise, what are they looking for in applicants now?
It really depends on your program. Are you academic or community? And there are some programs that are chronically understaffed, so all they need is someone who can meet basic requirements of waking up and showing up on time. But typically, those are programs that are in distress and may not offer you the best training or may not offer you the best fellowship opportunities. So you want to be looking at programs that are competitive. And what they're looking for is, number one, can you work well in a team, right? And there's multiple things they look at. The first is, how do you communicate? Can you communicate clearly and effectively? Can you make a statement that is specific and actionable? Now, you would like to think that's a given if you're already done medical school, you've taken all these exams, and now you're in an interview. But you'd be surprised at how many times it's not there. There's lots of people who are not able to communicate effectively and clearly, and the interviewers are very astute in picking that up. Okay? So I think that's number one. Number two, do you fit, right? Can you get along with other people? Can you work in a team? So, for example, at Mayo, our residency classes, oh geez, I hope I have the number right. But if you include the clinical investigators, it's close to 40 or 45 residents. These are your coworkers, right, in each class. And so are you able to work with other people across different, regions, genders, nationalities? So they want to see that you can work in a team. And I think the third thing is that you're competent enough that your program director can sleep well at night, right? They're not up at 2 o'clock in the morning worrying about, are you taking good care of patients? Are you having good conversations with your colleagues, with patient families and things like that? They don't want to be up at 2 o'clock in the morning worrying about you as a trainee. So are you someone that, the program director can sleep at night knowing is in the hospital and taking care of everyone and everything? So I think that's what they look for. Now, that's for the selection as a person. There's another aspect of this, and this is a little peek into how a lot of programs function. The next thing they're going to do is say, okay, where's this person going to go for their fellowship? And let me explain and kind of follow through with this. The competitive programs are very aware of what made them competitive in the first place. And it's really about attracting the best talent, because these programs are ranked based on where the talent goes for their fellowship. For example, if you have two programs in front of you, one of which the graduates are going to, the very well-known institutions for fellowship, highly ranked, right? National specialties, internationally known versus a program where the graduates are going to community programs for fellowship. The program directors know that, right? So what they do is they keep in mind their rankings when they look for candidates. So if you're an academic program, your ranking is based on where your residents go for fellowship. So the better fellowships they graduate to, the better the better your residency is ranked. So that's something they look at as well. So when you're in your interview for residency, especially at a competitive program, highlight the fact that as a graduate, you'd be looking at certain types of fellowship programs. And, you can certainly name drop them. You can say, well, listen, um, I am inspired by the advancements in cardiology at Harvard. So after my residency, I'm really looking to go to Harvard for my fellowship. Now, a note of caution here, be genuine. If you're going to a community program in an underserved area and you say to them, I want to go to Harvard for my fellowship, they know that the chances are lower if you go to their residency program versus if you go to a university program or more competitive program. So again, be genuine for your reasons of being at that place for the interview. But I think the moral of the story here is that the program directors are looking at you not only for today, what you're going to do during your residency, but how you contribute to the reputation of the program once you graduate. And so that's another thing that they will look at and try to judge during the selection process. I don't know if that was clear or you'd like me to restate it in another way.
I absolutely get it. Just in much simpler words, if I were to state it, it means that it's okay to mention that you're interested in fellowship, because a lot of the reviews that we have previously received have also been about that. Do not mention that you want to do a fellowship in your personal statements specifically. Keep it open, play it safe. Don't mention you plan on doing fellowships. You want to come back to Pakistan.
I don't agree with playing it safe, because if you play it safe, you're not going to get anywhere. Program directors can sense that, and it can be mistaken as lack of motivation, lack of drive, right? If you say, well, I'm just coming to the program to be, internally medicine trained, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But tell me why that's important to you, and tell me why my program fits with that plan. If you play it too safe, you're not going to go anywhere. And you do have to make a statement of, this is who I want to be. And training at your institution is one step in that direction. And that's why it's important to me to come to your institution. You can talk about going back to Pakistan, but in all honesty, I'm not sure how credible that is. It's very admirable. Don't get me wrong. If you do train in the US and you go back to Pakistan, that is fantastic. And I have a lot of classmates who have done that from Aga Khan, and they are fantastic leaders in their field. So there shouldn't be any judgment on somebody who says they want to go back to Pakistan. But at the same time, I don't think it gives you any type of advantage during your residency interview, right? They're not going to say, oh, this guy's leaving, so that's why we should give him a spot. No. They're going to give you a spot because of your qualifications and because of what you want to do with the training they give you. So again, be genuine. If that is your goal, then say it. That's totally fine. But don't hold back your ambitions or sharing your ambitions in the fear that it will hurt your chances of matching. It won't.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. It again, like you said, that completely depends on how genuine you want to be, or you're conveying that across. No need to put up a fake profile just in order to impress. So that is a takeaway from what you're saying. If you're genuinely interested in a fellowship, then you write about it.
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
Because it gives a sense of direction, right? It tells me that you have a plan. You're going to go somewhere with it. We haven't talked about this, but I also sat on the selection committee for my business school, and we did the same. Applicants to the business school who really didn't have a sense of where they were going, they were not, sought after as to be admitted. It's those people who say, in 5 years, I want to be X. And in order to get there, I need to learn A, B, C, D, E. And then I will be able to get there. Those are the people where we saw a clear plan, a clear progression, and they know what they're going to do with their qualification. And I think the same goes for your residency.
Point well taken. So we now I have a last couple of questions for you, which revolves around some practical advice for our IMGs. So for IMGs who feel very overwhelmed or stuck applying again and again, what are the first 3 steps that they should be taking right now?
First,
3 steps.
take a deep breath. Yeah, first, take a deep breath. All right. Have faith that it's going to be okay. Number 1. Number 2, you need to have backup plans. Okay. So, for example, my backup plan, if I did not match, was to continue with basic science research because I was already doing that, get more publications, apply again next year. Right. So, number 2 is have a backup plan. And then finally, number 3 is control what you can control, okay? And do the best that you can in optimizing those conditions. Here's what I mean. You cannot control visa policy. You cannot control immigration policy, but you can control the quality of your application. So focus on that. The other things, right? You just have to control what you can control and, have faith that it's going to work out okay in the end. I will tell you, as I mentioned, I have a couple of dear friends and colleagues who didn't, follow the typical path. One of my colleagues, or one of my best friends actually, he ended up training in Europe, right? So he actually did his residency. Well, let me back up. After graduation medical school, he did research in Sweden. Then he started his residency in the UK. Then he finished his PhD in the UK. And now he's a consultant attending at a very prestigious university in Sweden. When he and I were studying in the library for USMLEs, at that point, we were on the same path. He was also going to, come to the US and do his training. But his journey took a different path. I'll give you another example. I have a very good friend. He didn't match. He took his MLEs, he went through the match 2 or 3 times, and unfortunately he went unmatched. He joined the pharmaceutical industry, and now he is a very accomplished executive in the pharmaceutical industry. So my point is that it's going to work out in the end. Right now, it may not seem like it, but alhamdulillah, it will be fine. It's just that not everybody's path is the same.
Thank you. That I'm sure that's going to be very helpful for our applicants. So, if someone is, looking to match into the US or pursuing a fellowship over there, what kind of guidance or mentorship do you think is necessary for them?
Yeah. So the first thing, if you're still in medical school, clerkships are better than observerships. What do I mean by that? A clerkship is a formal rotation in a training program in the United States. It is typically administered through their school of education, and you get a transcript. It goes on your transcript in medical school. An observership is different. Well, let me say one more thing. The clerkship is active, right? You are there, you're pre-rounding on patients, you're presenting patients, and you're managing them as a medical student, of course, right? But it's an active participation. An observership is very passive. You basically follow someone around while they see patients. And typically, again, every place is different, but typically because you don't have a medical license and or because you're not an official student, you're not allowed to see patients independently. You're not allowed to do physical exams. You certainly don't write notes. The reason I bring this up is because residency programs make a distinction between clerkships and observerships. Observerships aren't necessarily that valuable as clerkships are. So the more clerkships you can do, the better. Observerships, yes, you can do them. They will not harm you, but they do not have the same weight or value as a clerkship. So I think that's one important thing. What else? What was the question?
What kind of guidance or mentorship should anyone be looking at?
The second thing is that you need to have some kind of plan for your time after graduation. And if you can identify a research mentor or someone you can work with during your final year, definitely plug into them after graduation and get their help in getting studies done, articles done. Get them to help you build that CV so that when you're ready for the ERAS season, you've got some publications on your CV. Not only that, but that person should also be able to help you with whatever skill set you need to develop in order to do well during interviews, right? So that person should be doing mock interviews. And I do mock interviews all the time with students, but doing mock interviews, asking questions, gauging how that person responds to a question. How confident are they? How authentic are they? So your mentor should be helping with mock interviews. If you don't have a mentor who can do that, then certainly find one. You do need to practice because it is a skill set of how to interview very well. So that's the thing. And then I think finally, it's, going back to the concept I presented earlier, which is make your application bulletproof. Have a standout personal statement. Have excellent, extracurriculars. Really use your application to show how unique of a person you are and how you fit into a training program. I think that's really important because, again, there's thousands of people who are applying. How do you stand out? How do you get that interview call? And every place is different with what kind of filters they use. You need to get past as many filters as possible.
Absolutely. One final piece of advice you wish every IMG could hear before starting this journey?
It's a long road. It is going to be lots of highs. There's going to be lots of lows. Stick together with your friends. Go through it together. I'll share with you just a brief story. I just went to a 50th birthday party for one of my colleagues, and all of his buddies came from medical school. Now, they lived in the region, so it wasn't very far, but believe it or not, about 30 of his buddies showed up. Now, what kind of stories were being told at the birthday party? The stories were all about those last few years of medical school and the residency match, experience, right? And it was like, yes, we used to study till 2 a.m. Then we next day would ask, did you study this or did you study that? I heard this is coming on the exam. Did you get your visa? No, I didn't get my visa. That kind of thing. This is a very, very memorable time for you. So enjoy it. Be with each other, support each other, and I guarantee you, if you do that at this time, they will be coming to your 50th birthday party, inshallah, and sharing all the stories of what you went through going through your residency match.
Brilliantly put. Sums it up perfectly. Live your life, but then really live it and love it. So
Live it, love it. And again, these stories were like, yeah, I used to sleep on the floor at his place while I was waiting for my residency interview and this and that. I mean, you guys are a band of brothers and sisters. You will have to support each other as you go through this, and you will make lifelong memories. So don't be too concerned about the destination. Alhamdulillah, you will be fine. It's really about how did you get there, and did you help each other, support each other, and do the best that you could do, because that's all on you, right? The rest is up to Allah.
thank you so much, Dr. Mustaqeem. That was so wonderful. That was so enlightening. And I'm sure that when this goes on air, our applicants, our clients, everybody is just going to really have some good food for thought before they start working on their applications. One thing that I always tell them when they're starting off is that, so you know how the math season starts, and September, end September is the deadlines and all. Will you believe me? People come to me 2-3 days before the deadline, and they're like, "Can you help us?"
Too late.
Very late. Then I'm just like,
Yeah.
how are you so delusional even to think that you can make it right now? Because people, I always tell them, right now this is April, May is when you should start working on your applications, because you
Right.
need 1 month to, you need at least a week to sit and brainstorm, and then one draft, second draft, third draft, fourth draft. Everyone it's just going to edit it, give you opinions on it. So I also always tell them, don't get too many opinions on one person statement, because everybody is going to just confuse you. Keep one person, and that's my personal opinion, you're free to share yours. Keep one person who knows you really well, so they know if you're being genuine or not, and keep one person who doesn't know you, so that gives you kind of like a mock program director opinion, because obviously the program director is also not going to know you. So these two people, keep them for all the revisions that you need, all the perspectives you need, but for heaven's sake, start now. It's too late even, I believe, to start in August, or but IMGs, unfortunately, they just keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing it, and then they just don't have the brain capacity to think. So then how are even we going to help them think?
You're absolutely right. It's April when we're recording this. This is the time to start. And for the reasons that you said, I'll add one more. You also will have to address deficiencies in your application. Your application is not going to be perfect. Nobody's application is perfect. But what you do have is time to figure out, okay, how do I make it a little more perfect, a little more better, and fix the deficiencies that are in my application. You need that time in order to get a paper or two out before the application actually goes in. So yes, agreed. March, April is the time where you really should focus your attention. The personal statement cannot be rushed, because when it's rushed, then it's not very good quality. So you need to take a month or so, write a draft, think about it, put it away for a week, come back to it, reread it, and ask yourself, is this genuine? Does this make sense? And yes, agree that you shouldn't get too many opinions, because it's just going to then devolve into something that's very generic. You want it to be authentic.
That's not you.
So,
Yeah.
Sorry?
No, the same thing, or something that's not you. Pieces
It's
of
or something that's not you. You're absolutely right. So at the end of the day, it takes time. You can't chat GPT this.
Absolutely, yes. That was one question that I had written, and I was saving it for the end. People write answers with AI, and you can tell off the bat that this is AI.
Yes.
This is not them. I think it's fine if they're using AI to check for grammar and stuff like that, or maybe to ask them, okay, I want to put this in. What is the best way for me to put that in? But the words should be yours, because even when they're interviewing you, they can tell the difference between the written word and the spoken word. So nobody
sure.
need an AI checker to be able to tell whether or not it's AI generated. They just need to read it, and they've been reading so many personal statements. It's very easy to tell what is written by a human being and what is AI generated. And when you obviously hear them in an interview, you can put two and two together. So that's something we always discourage people, that please don't use AI to write it. It just messes it up, and then the whole thing comes crashing down, unfortunately.
Well, you lose credibility when somebody figures it out, right? You lose credibility. Your personal statement is the most valuable thing in your application. And if you lose that credibility, then the whole application falls, just like you said. Then just that one thing will be basis for exclusion from the interview process. So make it genuine. Don't use AI, ChatGPT, Cloud, whatever, or Gemini, whatever your preferred one is. Just don't. Make it genuine.
Right. Thank you so much once again, Dr. Mustaqeem. It was a pleasure having you with us. And hopefully, we'll be reconnecting soon for a live session sometime in May where you can even address some live Q&A if time allows, if you have the time. But this was very, very helpful, and this will be very appreciated by the IMG community. And we're very grateful to you for your time and your all the knowledge and everything that you've shared with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Inshallah, I'll see you soon.
Inshallah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.